Hello everyone! It is I, Whimsy, the Oracle of Whimsy, first conceived in an ancient riverbed in a land far, far away from here, or somewhere around a campfire in western Oregon, sometime in the 1960s. Hello! Today we're going to be doing some fun throws, and we're going to be talking a little bit about the predictions we have made so far. So, a lot of people are talking about Rosenstein. Rosenstein seems to have joined the other side. People are concerned about that. There's been some articles that have come out. I believe one of them came out in the Washington Post today that William Barr was telling the president, I can land the plane, don't worry. He's an interesting character, Rod Rosenstein. On the one hand, according to McCabe, he was counting votes to try and see if he could issue Article 25. He also suggested people wear wires, and then all the while simultaneously trying to keep from being fired by Trump and keep the investigation open. The investigation led to 14 other investigations by the FBI, but in addition to that, as McCabe pointed out, there were already investigations going on. So, love him or hate him, the Mueller report and the investigations that sprang out of the Mueller report, a lot of that happened because of Rod Rosenstein. I was asked if I could check to see if Mueller was shut down or if the investigation ended naturally, and it looked to me like it was ended and that Mueller had intended on going further than he was allowed to go. In plain words, if he had been allowed to complete his work, he would have been allowed to continue investigating foreign business dealings, money coming out of Deutsche Bank, all of the stuff that he referred that had to do with foreign business dealings, dirty money, etc., which is right where the investigation is right now. That's probably what Mueller would have done. I'm going to go ahead, and the first thing I'm going to do today is throw cards on Rosenstein. I just want to see if our friend Mr. Rosenstein, who is, by the way, a King of Pentacles, where he is at right now. I'd like to get into his records with his permission and just see if we missed anything. I think he's a conservative, but I also think that, like I said before, we wouldn't have a Mueller report without him. So let's just try and see what comes up, what's going on with Rosenstein, and if he's a naughty boy or if he's playing some complex game with our current president. All right, let's take a look. I'm going to start with Rosenstein's cards. What is going on with Rod Rosenstein? All right, the base card is the High Priestess, so the truth is coming out. This is associated with him. The truth, bearing the truth, the light bearer, information coming out that was previously hidden. And the wish card, the wish has been granted. 3 of Wands, waiting for one's ship to come in. This is also somebody that we know is trying to retire. He's trying to establish his retirement, secure his investments. It just feels to me like he's trying to leave the Justice Department on a good note, secure his retirement, probably will do some traveling, probably do a little speaking engagements. This is somebody who wants to travel, take it easy, and would like to have a good ending to his career. 3 of Wands, waiting for the ship to come in. He really wants to just move on, but I do like the fact that there's this desire for the truth to come out. What is over him? Victory in 6 months. It could indicate that he's probably going to be stuck in some capacity working or assisting in the Justice Department for several months to come. 4 to 6 months, I'm going to go ahead and tentatively predict he's still involved with work at the Justice Department. And what crosses him? 2 of Pentacles. So it's also very likely that he could be brought on as an advisor in some expert advisory capacity. What is above him? Travel. He keeps talking to, his cards keep talking about travel, wanting to travel abroad. This is somebody who may have felt confined in their career and now desires to maybe see the world a little bit, travel a little bit. Probably has a fairly good relationship with his spouse and is just looking forward to retirement, new experiences. In terms of his relationship to the president, there is some aspect of his personality where I don't believe that Rosenstein can be bribed. Despite how weak he may appear in the public view, I think that he may be weak, but he has very strong values about what he will and will not do. A new contract coming here. There's confusion around him. The moon, hopes and fears. Keeps talking about his money, his retirement. He has a real fear that his retirement is not going to be taken care of. And the clarification. Just talks about his career outside of DC, possibly writing a book, possibly going into the private sector, continuing in an advisory role, and he will leave with many choices. You can see a nice 7 of Cups moving in, which is about multiple choices. I don't see anything like devil or trapped to the devil or anything that's suggestive of inappropriate behavior. Instead, this is just simply somebody who's preparing to move on, wants to secure his reputation and his retirement, has some fairly clear ideas about what is considered acceptable and unacceptable behavior in terms of what he will and will not do. And he is attached to allowing the truth to come out. But he's also disengaging from the story to some extent. Okay, so that's what I see on Rosenstein. I don't see anything nefarious there. It's really more just trying to get along with people until he can retire, and at the same time not doing anything that he might have that might put him in legal jeopardy or put his retirement in jeopardy. I'm sorry, but that's kind of how it looks. I want to now, I was asked also if I could look to see if Mnuchin is going to jail. Is he going to hand over the taxes? What is going to be the response from Congress? So the dynamics between Congress and Trump's refusal to allow his staff to speak to Congress and refusal by Mnuchin to hand over the tax returns. I just want to check on that now because we haven't really done that and I'm curious. Will Steve Mnuchin hand Trump's tax returns to Congress, or will he be in contempt of Congress? How is Congress going to handle the fact that Trump's people are not cooperating with subpoenas? Base of the matter, the world, wish granted. The courts will side with Congress. It's non-negotiable. They will win this case. where it's at right now, establishing one's foundation or one's position, the law or frustration regarding the law or legal action, quick, quick, quick. This is also a fast card, a violent card. What is above? Time is running out. He's trying to run out the clock. This is something that I saw when I looked at Barr's records, that Barr was giving Trump what he thought Trump needed, which was time to decide what he wanted to do. So Trump needs time, not necessarily to run again in 2020, but to decide whether or not he can negotiate some kind of an exit or resignation with prosecutors. There seems to be some kind of negotiations going on, and Barr seems to be giving the president time, theoretically, to work through whatever these negotiations are. They're going to get his taxes. You can see here, Wheel of Fortune, regarding how the money was harvested, anger and resistance. But with a World card and a Nine of Cups as the base, it would be highly unlikely that we wouldn't be able to see the cards. You can see here an offer coming. The other person, inverted Three of Swords, not good. Depression, unhappiness, even thoughts of suicide. Hopes and fears that the truth will come out. Again, the eye-opening of the High Priestess, and then the final outcome. More questions than answers about how money was moved or juggled. Questionable money, rocky waters with money. So if the taxes come out and it looks like there's a new transparency that's coming into DC starting in the next couple of weeks, you can see this nice open energy is starting to happen. I'm going to go, there's Mueller. I'm going to go ahead and, there's the devil, and there is what I believe is Rod Rosenstein. The devil is attached to the finances. The offer is coming with Mueller's card. The broken man is associated with depression, suicide. And Rosenstein is associated with getting the truth out. The devil card is associated with questionable income sources. We'll do a third clarification. Position is strong with Mueller and Mueller's offer. The other person, increasingly alone and also searching. The Magician card falling on Rosenstein along with the High Priestess. The final outcome, it may go to the courts and it will fall in the favor of Congress. You can see the line there. You can see Mueller's cards here. You can see the Magician and the High Priestess with Rosenstein. And these are the cards of the defendant, Trump, the person that is in opposition to the querent, which was Congress, heartbreak, broken, examination. All right, interesting. I'm going to go ahead and tentatively predict that we're going to see more cooperation from Republicans and members of Congress that are on the Republican side. There's going to be more of an attempt to cooperate. The other thing I saw the last couple of days is a desire by Trump to convince the public that may be losing faith in him that are not part of his base. In plain words, I see Trump trying to reach beyond his base to get people to side with him. So we could be seeing him interviewed on ABC. We could be seeing him interviewed by the press in the future regarding the Mueller report. A sit-down conversation with ABC or 60 Minutes or some CBS or ABC could be doing an interview on him because he really wants to do that. All right, I'm going to go ahead now and we're going to check on Barr. I just wanted to see, Barr's interesting because the last time I tuned into Barr, he wasn't letting anybody leave. It was like he was having a meltdown and he was saying to Rosenstein and to Mueller, no, you people can't leave. You got to stay here and help me out with this. So when he talks about landing the plane and resolution, I can't help but wonder if he's talking about some type of resignation or negotiating his way out of impeachment, or I can't see this president at this point getting a second term, but anything's possible. I'm going to just check on Barr's cards now. It is an amazing time we live in, that's for sure. I always want to think the best of people. It's my worst, and it prevents me sometimes, I think, from seeing things the way I should see them, because all readers have bias. With me, I always want to give people the benefit of the doubt. And I think that a lot of us did when it came to Barr. Base card, money. The issues of money. That is what everybody's following, how the money was harvested. It's not just about how the money was harvested, but dipping into people's savings and investments. It is the conversation that's going to take up Washington, D.C. If the people in charge in D.C. are making it legal to take bribes, then you cannot prosecute them for taking bribes. And unfortunately, this is what seems to be happening in D.C. with dark money. There have become creative ways to bribe people, whether it's cryptocurrency or overseas accounts. And because the criminals have made it somewhat legal to do these things, it makes it very difficult for the FBI to find the money and prosecute people. And it goes back to the conversation we've had in the past, which is that dark money, bribes, money from questionable sources, is at the heart of what's going on with the feds and investigating these cases. And unfortunately, again, if Congress makes it legal to take this type of money, if the courts make it legal, then you can always grab a judge who owes you a favor, a prosecutor who owes you a favor, who you've got dirt on, or who can be bribed, and then you can simply find yourself out of the situation because everybody can be bought and sold. His situation right now, he's walking away from a war he can't win. There is some aspect to this where Barr doesn't feel that he can win the war that he set himself up in. Five of Swords is moving and walking away. It's an unwinnable situation. What crosses him? Still keeping secrets. Ten of Pentacles has an aspect, as I've mentioned, of spying. Some people say, no, this isn't the spy card. I think there is an aspect of spying. The person hiding in the background watches and observes, spying about the money. It's an inheritance card, but there's also an aspect of secrecy and spying that I've always associated with this card, just because the person that taught me the tarot saw that aspect in this card. It's not a traditional meaning of the Ten of Pentacles, but the old man is hiding behind the post and watching the conversation, and so it's just kind of interesting that for me it has that symbolism. For somebody who wants to have children, it can also be a child on the other side of the veil trying to come through. Her dress, and then the child is behind the dress, which symbolizes the veil. So if somebody's trying to have a child and this card comes through, it could mean that there's a child that will be coming. But for William Barr, in this particular placement, it has to do with secrets or spying regarding the accessing of money, inheritance of money, and the flow of money. You can see it's all about money and walking away from a battle regarding an issue of money and where money comes from. What is above Barr? I think this is Trump, air sign male. It's also justice or the law. What sits below him? Stubbornness, like the child having a temper tantrum who cannot be picked up. Remember I said it's like the 40-pound child who refuses to be picked up has a temper tantrum. If you've ever tried to pick up a 4-year-old, they start to weigh 300 pounds because they don't want to be picked up. He refuses the offer, passive aggressive, refusing to cooperate. But if you look at the placement, it's also associated with the King of Swords. So just like Rosenstein, there's some aspect of his dynamic with Trump where he's trying to appease Trump, but he's also not willing to do certain things, which leads me to suspect that Trump has already pressured Barr to do things which may be legally questionable. And at that point, Barr has to then document what starts to look like obstruction of justice. You see how complicated this starts to get? Rejecting something, He is going before Congress. He's going before Congress, and there's something that's going to be happening in the coming weeks where there's a new transparency. Carries everything over to Congress, the whole kit and caboodle, the burden. He wants to dump this burden, and the burden is attached to the King of Swords, which we can see is the card we use for Trump. The burden that he wants out of there, if you really want my honest opinion about that. He wants out of this. This is a burden. This has become a pain. He wants out of this. Where he is at right now with Mueller. Options, choices, hopes and fears, the end, and the final outcome. This will not end well for Barr, and Barr is eventually going to cooperate with Congress because he understands that he's tied himself to a losing battle. We'll do the clarification for him. Research with Mueller's not gone. You can see him still researching here with Barr. Offers coming to the accused. Offers. Hopes and fears. Moving on, and the final outcome, death. I would not be surprised with cards like this that Barr may even consider resigning when this is all over. All right, there you have it, my dears. A Barr will probably stop. You cannot resist Congress. It didn't. I think Nixon tried, and it was 8-0 in the Supreme Court. I think they had one vacancy at the time. So, yeah, it's starting to get serious with Congress, and Congress will move towards actually arresting people. So I think Barr will probably break with this president and begin cooperating with Congress based on these cards. I'm curious about Mnuchin. I want to go ahead and just check his cards. I don't know his astrological sign, so I won't use a significator of it. I guess I could use the King of Pentacles now that I think about it because he's the money guy. I just want to check his records really fast because talk about someone who's ruining his life. For this president, I see people jumping ship as early as next week. You can't win. Cannot win a fight like this. Let's look at Mnuchin's cards. All right, I just want to see what's going on with Mnuchin and the Treasury cooperating with Congress, access to the president's records. Base card, victory and then grief for somebody else. Success or victory after tears comes with grief. What is over him? Moving, traveling, going out. Star card, blessing over what? The issue of the money again, the spying. Questionable money sources, inheritance. What is below him? Defensiveness, trying to protect his ground, trying not to hand over the records. The past placement, cutting it off. He wasn't even corresponding with them at one point. This is a correspondence course. This is a correspondence card. Communication by air. This is resistance over the next 4 days. Look at this. He feels trapped. He doesn't know what to do. He honestly doesn't know what he's supposed to do. He's completely confused. He's worried that if he complies with Congress, he's going to get fired. He's being wooed by the president. He's being wooed by people who are promising him the moon if he doesn't cooperate. The hopes and the fears and the final outcome, we're headed towards a crash. This is a non-sustainable situation. the situation's going to be taken out of his hands. All right, folks, the drama continues. I wish it could end sooner, but unfortunately it's taking a lot of time. With that, it almost feels like with this kind of an outcome, like Mnuchin has a meltdown and it's almost like taken out from under him and the power is taken away from Mnuchin. That's almost how I would interpret these cards. All right, thanks for watching, everybody, this quick video from me, Tarot with Whimsy. If you're still trying to get in for phone readings, I have none this week, obviously, because it's already Saturday. But next week, starting in Tuesday, I do have openings. I also want to tell people I'll be out of the country May 18th to, I believe it's June 5th. I'm doing some traveling, celebrating my big sister's birthday. Oh, it's such a hard knock life. We're going to be in Italy and the Greek Isles. We're doing a cruise. I got a deal on Expedia. So anyone who wants cheap cruises, go to Expedia. All right, so that about wraps it up. You can find my information below if you want to schedule a phone reading. And if you have anything else you want me to check, be sure and ask me, and I would love to take a look for you. All right, thanks for watching, everyone. We'll see you next time. Bye. What is it, Mila? What's it doing? Go get it, Mila. Go get it. You'll figure it out.